उपीष्टं स्थापितं
येन भूतले
स्वयं
स्वयं
रूप कदा
रूप कदा
मह्यं
मह्यं ददाति
ददाति
स्वपदान्तिकं
स्वपदान्तिकम्
वन्देऽहं
वन्देऽहं
श्रीगुरुं
श्रीगुरु श्वेतपदकमलं
कमलं
श्रीगुरुं
श्रीगुरुं
वैष्णवांश्च
वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं
श्रीरूपं
साग्रजातं
साग्रजातं
सगण
सहगण
रघुनाथान्वितं
रघुनाथान्वितं
तं
तं
सजीवम्
सजीवं
साद्वैतं
साद्वैतं
सावधूतं
सावधूतं
परिजनसहितं
परिजनसहितं
कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं
श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान्
श्रीकृष्णपादान्
सहितां च
सहितांश्च
हे कृष्ण
हरे
करुणा
कृष्ण
सिंधु
करुणा सिंधु
दीनबन्धो
दीनबन्धु
जगत्पते
जगत्पते
गोपेश
गोपेश
गोपिकान्त
राधा
राधाकान्त
नमोऽस्तुते
नमोऽस्तुते
तप्तकाञ्चन
तप्तकाञ्चन
गौराङ्गी
गौराङ्गी
राधे
राधे
वृन्दावनेश्वरी
वृन्दावनेश्वरी
वृषभानुसुते
वृषभानुसुते
देवी
देवी
प्रणमामि
प्रणमामि
हरिः
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा
देवश्च
सिन्धुभ्यश्च
पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
नमो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमः जय
जय
श्रीकृष्ण
श्री कृष्ण
श्रीकृष्ण
चैतन्य
चैतन्य
नित्यानंद श्री
श्री
अद्वैत
राधार शिवासादि
श्री गौर
गौरभक्तवृंदा
भक्त
हरे
हरे
कृष्णा
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
हरे
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 कृष्णा
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्णा
कृष्ण
हरे
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 राम
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 हरे
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 कृष्णा
कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण
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 हरे
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 राम
राम
राम हरे हरे
हरे
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्णा
कृष्ण
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 हरे हरे
हरे
हरे
हरे
राम
हरे राम
राम हरे
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 हरे Okay, all together we'll recite these verses. Narayanam namaskritya नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नरं
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 चैव
चैव
नरोत्तमं
चैव
देवीं
जयमुदीरये
सरस्वतीं
सरस्वतीं
व्यासं ततो
ततो
जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु
भद्रेषु
भद्रेषु
नित्यं
नित्यं भागवत
भागवत
सेवया
सेवया भगवती
वैष्णवोऽपि
वैष्णवोऽपि
भवति
भक्तिर्भवति
नैष्टिकी
नैष्टिकी
कृष्णाय
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
वासुदेवाय
देवकीनन्दनाय
नन्दनाय च
नन्दगोपकुमाराय
नन्दगोपकुमाराय
गोविन्दाय
गोविन्दाय नमो
नमो
नमः
नमः ॐ नमो
ॐ नमो
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय
ॐ
ॐ
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते वासुदेवाय
वासुदेवाय
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay. We are reading from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, first canto, third chapter, right? Anyone remembers up to which verse we finished?
I think 24 incarnation.
24 incarnation. Okay. Which verse? Okay, I did. Okay, let's before going to that quickly because we had a break. So we are discussing related to the discussion between Sutta Goswami and the sages at Naimisharanya. They asked 6 questions. So what is the ultimate good? Ultimate good for the humanity, and what is the essence of all the scriptures? What is the purpose of Krishna's appearance?
Son of
And then Purushavatars, about Purushavatars, Leela avatars, and last question is
where
after
does
Krishna left this
Dharma?
material world, where did religion take shelter? So we have seen, I think, up to 5 questions, right? Leela avatar, as you said, some incarnations we saw, right? So we actually completed up to 28th verse, the Paribhasha Sutra. Okay, what about the answers for these questions? Anyone can try? What is the ultimate benefit for all the humanity? What is absolute good for humanity?
To inquire about the Lord Krishna.
Okay.
And
And
performing bhakti.
Not exactly. Yeah, bhakti. Onward, bhakti, devotional service. Yes. What is the essence of all the Krishna, essence of all the scriptures?
To know about the absolute truth.
Krishna.
Sorry? Yeah.
Consider
Again, it's
devotional.
bhakti
Yeah.
actually.
Again, bhakti.
Again, it's devotional service. Yeah, to inquire about the absolute truth comes part of it. So, and then we see in all the stages of bhakti, right? You have seen about the bhakti there in the chapter 2, all the stages, the Shraddha to Prema stages. Then the third question is the purpose of Krishna's appearance. He was born in the womb of Devaki as the son of Vasudeva. Why was he born? All forgotten. We did some quizzes also. I think these 6 questions you should be. Why was Krishna born?
To deliver his devotees.
Yeah.
To establish dharma
Okay.
and to kill the demons.
Okay.
To establish the dharma.
Yeah, that someone already said. Yes, correct. But what is Bhagavatam telling?
To protect the
it.
devotees.
Yeah. Where is it mentioned in Bhagavatam?
Everyone
Protect devotees. Any verse?
यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य
Yeah, is it in Bhagavatam?
ग्लानं भवति भारत
Bhagavad Gita.
That's
तदात्मनं
in Bhagavad
सृजाम्यहम्.
Gita. That's in Bhagavad
Completely.
Gita.
Yeah.
We are talking about Bhagavatam. We have come to the next level. Actually, the point Param Prabhu mentioned was correct. To deliver. Okay, that is again mentioned in Bhagavad Gita to deliver the pious. But that is similar to this. Just check the verse number 34 of second chapter. Can someone read the translation there?
Thus the Lord of the universes maintains all planets inhabited by by demigods, men and lower animals. Assuming the roles of incarnations, he performs pastimes to reclaim those in the mode of pure goodness.
Yes. So he attracts pure souls through this devotional service and hearing the pastimes, and he delivers all those who are in the mode of pure goodness. So back to Godhead. Right. So that's the 3 questions. And the 4th question, Purushavadas. Can someone tell who are the Purushavadas? One Purushavadas. One each.
Karnadakashai Vishnu.
Yeah, okay.
Sankarshan,
Shankarshan. Yes, they come from Shankarshan, in fact.
Garbhodaksha Vishnu,
Yeah. Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Karnodaksha Vishnu is also called as Mahavishnu.
And Zero
Then
Dikshai.
Garbhodaksha Vishnu and Shirodaksha Vishnu. These 3 forms of Vishnus are known as the Purusha avatars. So their main purpose is for creation. Then next is the Leela avatars, right? We have seen some Leela avatars there. Right? It's actually 22 in this chapter. So again, the Leela avatars are described somewhere, incarnations. There 24 comes, but in this first canto, Sutta Goswami talks about 22 incarnation. Anyone remember some of the incarnations we saw?
Yeah, Narad Muni,
Vamana.
Yeah,
Lord
Vamana.
Kapila,
Okay.
Vamana and Narayan. Vrishiva, Dattatreya. and Narad Muni, Kapila,
Who are the four small boys?
four
Kumara,
Kumaras,
Four
four
Kumaras. Yeah, Varahadev,
Vyasadev,
Matsya, Kurma, Krishna, Rama, Dhanvantri, Mohini,
Buddha,
then Vamana Avatar, Buddha Avatar, Parasuram, Vyasadev. So all these incarnations we have seen. And we ended up with the verse number 28. 28 is called the Paribhasha Sutra. So there the key point is Krishna to Bhagavan Swayam. That's what it mentions there. So Paribhasha Sutra means, okay, anywhere, any reference to Bhagavan in this particular scripture. So if you have any doubt, you have to consider this verse. So in Bhagavatam, even Narada Muni is somewhere it said is Bhagavan Narada. So there may be confusion among the people who are reading this. Okay, there it said Krishna is Bhagavan, here it said Narada, some other personality, because Bhagavatam is full of devotees, personalities and various other incarnations, right? So Bhagavan is mentioned at different places. But then if for purpose, for guidance, for us as a rule to understand that Krishna to Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the supreme original personality of Godhead. So that's where we stopped last time. So we'll read from verse number 29. Just give me 1 second. Can you see my screen? This is where we finished last time. Krishna is the Banan Saman Bonam. All right. Anyone want to read this verse? This is the Falastruti.
Falashruti.
Yeah.
Simply by citing the transcendental births and activities of the Lord with devotion, one gets relief from all miseries. Janma ghoyam bhagavato ya etat prayato nara sayam pratar grinan bhaktya dukhagra madvimuchyate. Whoever carefully recites the mysterious appearances of the Lord with devotion in the morning and in the evening gets relief from all miseries of life. Falashruti, benefits obtained by either reading, hearing, or reciting. In the Bhagavad Gita, the personality of Godhead has declared that anyone who knows the principles of the transcendental birth and activities of the Lord will go back to Godhead after being relieved from this material tabernacle. So simply knowing factually the mysterious way of the Lord's incarnation in this material world can liberate one from material bondage. Therefore, the birth and activities of the Lord, as manifested by Him for the welfare of the people in general, are not ordinary. They are mysterious, and only by one who carefully tries to go deep into the matter by spiritual devotion is the mystery discovered. Thus, the knower is relieved of all miseries. In other words, one gets liberation from material bondage. It is advised, therefore, that one who simply recites this chapter of Bhagavatam, describing the appearance of the Lord in different incarnations, in sincerity and devotion, can have insight into the birth and activities of the Lord. The very word vimukti, or liberation, indicates that the Lord's birth and activities are all transcendental. Otherwise, simply by reciting them, one cannot attain liberation. They are therefore mysterious, and those who do not follow the prescribed regulations of devotional service are not entitled to enter into the mysteries of his birth and activities.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. So as I said, this verse is a Palastuti. Pala means what? Pal.
benefits,
Okay. What does Pal means?
The result.
Result.
Okay.
Reward.
Yeah, correct. Result. Fruits. Right. So benefit results of results of what? What are the results of?
Karma.
Reading, hearing, and reciting Bhagavatam.
Yes, whoever carefully recites the mysterious appearance and activities of the Lord. When we should be reciting as per this verse?
Morning and evening.
Correct. So whoever carefully recites the sorry, mysterious appearance of the Lord with devotion. So that's another key. In the morning and evening, what does it happen? What is the real results? All our
Relief from all.
miseries, all our miseries are going away. One gets rid of all the pangs of miseries in this material world. That's the Palasuti mentioned in this verse. That's what Prabhupada highlights here. So benefits of obtaining, by reading and hearing and reciting. So that's why very important, hearing and reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Bhagavad Gita. It gives us so much benefit. So what is the benefit again is mentioned here? The word vimukti. What does vimukti means?
Liberation.
Liberation.
Yes.
Prabhuji, mukti and vimukti, what is the difference?
More or less both are same.
Okay, because mukti means
Yeah,
liberation.
liberation. Vimukti is ultimate liberation, you can take it. So liberations are at various levels. Even in this material world, you can be mukti. So you're not attached to something. You basically, what is the attachment? Our attachment is the problem. We are getting attached to material things. So we are not liberated. We are attached to things. So even in material world, in this material body, you can get liberation. Being free from all these things. That would help. So this vimukti is ultimate liberation. Okay, is that okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it indicates where the process of getting the liberation is the Lord's birth and death. So they are therefore mysterious, and those who do not follow the prescribed regulations of devotional service are not entered into the mysteries of his birth and death. Okay, there are 5 types of liberations. Right, here it's put 6. I'll come to that. Anyone knows what are the 5 types of liberations?
Yes.
I'll not show that slide. Yeah, someone said yes.
Sarupya, Salokya, Sayujya, Shashti, and Sarupya.
Sahijya, yeah.
Sayujya.
So Salokya, Sarishtya, Samipya, Sarupya. Oh, yeah. So it's mentioned here if you see. So Salokya means after liberation, Loka, Salokya. Loka means the universe or planet. So wherever Lord lives, you go and live there. Salokya. Then Sarupya. You will have the same form of the Lord. And Samipya means to be personal associate. You will be personal associate. And Sarishti, having the same opulence similar to the Lord. And the last one is the Sayujya, that is Kaivalya, Ekatviya. That means you merged into the Lord. So generally Vaishnavas are not interested in Kaivalya form. No merging. So that's basically, the Brahman realization. They'll try to merge with the Brahman. The other 4 are the ones Vaishnava talk about. But a real devotee, a pure devotee, does not accept any kind of liberation like Salokya, Sarishtya, Samipya, Sarupya, or Sayujya, or Ekatva, even though they are offered by the Supreme Lord. Even if these liberations are offered, they don't like this liberation. Then what do they like?
Devotional service. Das.
Exactly, all the time serving the Lord. So life after life, I may remain pure devotee at the lotus feet and serve you unconditionally. So Veena mat sevanam jana. So that's what a devotee likes. All right. All right. So we finish up that section of what is that section about the various incarnations of the Lord, and Krishna is the fountainhead of all incarnation. So the next section, 30 to 34th verse, talks about Virat Rupa, the imaginary form of the Lord. Okay, let's go through it. Anyone wants to read?
Yeah, I can.
Yes, Prabhu. Kangana Mataji, you'll do the next
Yeah.
verse. Yeah.
Okay.
Next verse you do. Someone said I will read. I don't know who's that.
It's
Jai
me,
Dharma,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hare
please,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Sorry.
Hare Krishna.
एतद्रूपं भगवतो य अरूपस्याचिदात्मनः मायागुणैर्विरचितं महादादिभिरात्मनि. The conception of Virat Rupa, universal form of Lord, as appearing in the material form is imaginary. It is also the less intelligent and neophytes to adjust to the idea of the Lord's having form, but factually the Lord has no material form.
Yeah, please continue, bro.
The conception of the Lord, known as the Vishwarupa or the Virat Rupa, is particularly not mentioned along with various incarnations of the Lord, because all the incarnations of the Lord mentioned above are transcendental, and there is not a tinge of materialism in their bodies. There is no difference between the body and self, as there is a condition, as in the conditioned souls, for whom Virat Rupa is presented. The Virat Rupa is conceived for those who are just neophyte worshippers. For them, the material Virat Rupa is presented, and it will be explained in the second canto. In the Virat Rupa, the material manifestations of different planets have been conceived as his legs, hands, etc. Actually, all such descriptions are for the neophyte. The neophyte cannot conceive of anything beyond matter. The material conception of the Lord is not counted in the list of his factual forms as Paramatma or Super Soul. The Lord is within each and every material form, even within the atoms, but the outward material form is but an imagination, both for the Lord and for the living beings. The present forms of the conditioned souls are also not factual. The conclusion is that material conception of body of the Lord as Virata is imaginary. Both the Lord and the living beings are living spirits and have original spiritual bodies.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So what is this verse talking about? Virat Rupa also comes in Bhagavad Gita, right? The universal form.
Yeah. Yes.
Which chapter is that? Anyone remembers?
11.
11.
11th chapter, exactly. So here, what's mentioned? So the concept of Virat Rupa as appearing in the material world is said to be,
Material.
yeah, material. It is imaginary. Then why is this form there? Why is the universal form, or why is this
For
Virat Rupa form?
for
For
neophyte
the
devotee.
neophytes.
Yes, for less intelligent neophyte. Many people, want to see Lord, they say, right? So the material form is there. So why Virat Rupa is not mentioned with various incarnation? Because we read about 22 incarnation, right? That Virat Rupa is not mentioned. So Sutta Goswami mentions, and Prabhupada in the purport highlights on that.
Because they're all transcendental.
Because
Because
it
it
is
is not.
because it is all the planets and the universe. So
Exactly. All
it's
the
belongs,
material dreams. It
yeah,
is the
material thing.
material realms. Based on that is the imaginary form of Virat Rupa. As you rightly said, all the planets and other thing. So that's not considered to be transcendental. Whereas the other avatars, the Varaha, Matsya, these forms are said to be spiritual in nature, transcendental form. There is no difference between the body and soul. Okay. So for whom the Virat Rupa is presented, yeah, it's highlighted here. It is for the neophyte. And second canto explains it much more details. So as I said, the various planetary systems makes the form of it. Right. So this picture roughly shows that on the Satya Loka, Tapaloka, and all these things, they are imaginary form of the Lord. So the Patala Loka and the Rasatala Loka are said to be the foot, and the ankle is Mahatala, and the calves or spine is the Talatala, the knees are the Sutala, and the thighs are Vitala. So all these planetary systems are imaginary part of the Virat Rupa. Okay, let's go into the next verse. Kangana Mataji.
Imposing material conception on the spirit, unintelligent people see the visible universe as the Lord, just as one imagines clouds to be sky and dust to be wind. Text 31. Yatha navasi megha rinurva partha ivo anile ivam dra istari drisyatvam aropitam avodhiviha. Yatha as it is. Translation. Clouds and dust are carried by the air, but less intelligent persons say that the sky is cloudy and the air is dirty. Similarly, they also implant material bodily conception on the spirit self. With material eyes, we cannot see Lord. It is further confirmed herein that with our material eyes and senses, we cannot see the Lord, who is all spirit. We cannot even detect the spiritual spark which exists within the material body of the living being. We look to the outward covering of the body or subtle mind of the living being, but we cannot see the spiritual spark within the body. So we have to accept the living being presence by the presence of his gross body. Prescription for how to see the Lord. Similarly, those who want to see the Lord with their present material eyes or with the material senses are advised to meditate on the gigantic external feature called the Virat Rupa. Analogy. For instance, when a particular gentleman goes in his car, which can be seen very easily, we identify the car with the man within the car. When the president goes out in his particular car, we say there is a president. For the time being, we identify the car with the president. Similarly, less intelligent men who want to see God immediately without necessary qualification are shown first the gigantic material cosmos as the form of the Lord, although the Lord is within and without. Another example, the clouds in the sky and the blue of the sky are better appreciated in this connection, although the bluish tint of the sky and the sky itself are different. We conceive of the color of the sky as blue, but that is a general conception for the layman only. A subtle form.
No, that's next verse. Okay, thank you, Mataji. So this is actually, the previous verse talks about, the Virat Rupa is composed of the material dreams. It's a collective of all the individual universes and the forms of the Lord. Right? Who actually Lord is who? He is a Arupya. So who has a spiritual form of consciousness. He is devoid of all the material form. So this material form, the Virat Rupa is composed of all the material gunas and elements of the Mahatattva. That's what the previous verse we talked about. And this verse is talking about the analogy with reference how a neophyte will try to understand this Virat Rupa. Why he has to understand, how he has to understand. So the clouds and dust are carried by the air, but less intelligent people say, the clouds as the sky and the dust as the air. For them, they could see only the dust. They think the dust is the air, right? Similarly, they also implant the material body conception of the spirit on the spirit self. So this is for the unintelligent person. With the material eyes, we cannot see the Lord. So what is the prescription to see the Lord? Similarly, those who want to see the Lord with the present material eyes or with the material sense are advised to meditate on the gigantic external feature called the Virat Rupa. Again, these are basically for the neophyte. And Prabhupada gives the analogy of the car. If you see if you see some celebrity or someone's car, when the car itself goes, you think that the celebrity is going. So that's how we understand. So by seeing the universe and other things, people then they say, okay, this is the Lord Supreme. Another example, the cloud in the sky and the blue in the sky are better appreciated in this connection. Although the bluish tint in the sky and the sky itself are indifferent, we conceive the color of the sky as blue, right? Even though the sky is not color, but then it appears to be blue, right? But so we say the sky is blue. All right. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Jai Dharma, Prabhu. Your hands is raised.
Sorry, Prabhu. Just since we were talking on the less intelligent people, but I just have a query because Arjuna himself was requesting Lord to show his universal form, right? So he is such a elevated devotee, Nitya Siddha. And also there are instances where in Vishnu Sahasranamam also there is a specific stage where it says Shri Vishwarupa iti dhyanam, and the sloka continues. So where it is asking to meditate on the Vishwarupa. So how do we reconcile this with what we just read, Prabhu?
Okay. Good question. But it is actually said here, it's a material form of the Lord, right? So again, Vishwarupa, if you see there also, it is more showing about the various universes. It's unlimited form. It is showing the vastness of the Lord, right? There is no beginning. In fact, if you see in the 11th chapter, he
The
said you
opulence
can't
is,
identify where it starts and where it's end. It's just showing his greatness. So many people can understand if someone shows very great. If you're an ordinary thing, they don't treat you like anything. So if you see a show that the opulence, okay, then they will say something is there. So that's the material form. So here what it's trying to say is this is again the Lord's form, but it is of the material in nature, based on the material realms. But there is something superior to that. So our focus should be on the superior rather than on this material realm. So that's why those who are unintelligent or unwise, so different set of people, have to come into Krishna consciousness, have to come into the worship of the Lord, right? To bring that. So God provides the various forms. So here this reference is giving in terms of the incarnations which is mentioned here, and try to say that this Vishwarup is not an incarnation of the Lord because of its material form. And it is basically to bring those people who are unwise or unintelligent or less knowledge, for them, this is being shown. And even this, as you rightly said, even for that, Arjuna need a divine vision, right? A normal
yes,
vision, we can't see that because that's the Lord. Okay, Prabhu, anyone wants to add something to this?
I think Prabhuji Arjuna asks Lord Krishna to show the Virat Rupa because it is not for him, it is actually for us.
Yeah,
To let
exactly.
us
That's another
know.
point. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because in the previous chapter, again, if you see Krishna is explaining in the 10th chapter, he is more of a telling all these things verbally. I am this, I am that, like that. So then he is so much interested. He was, what to say? He wants to now see. Krishna is talking about those things. I am the Meru mountain. I am the greatest river. I am the greatest person. Like that, all those details he's telling there. And then Krishna says, "Oh, you are this, you are that. Okay, why don't you show me that?" That's how he is interested. So all those things are material form again. And that
Yes.
is meant again, Bhagavad Gita is just not meant for one is for devotee main, but then it is meant for all kind of people, right? So again, so this is where Bhagavatam comes in and tries to distinguishes it further, saying that you cannot consider that as an incarnation because that's a material dream. So Bhagavad Gita, it shows even for neophyte people, that's why that's the first document we have to understand that, right? So that's how to tell it. Does Vijay Gopi want to answer something?
No, I'm not sure whether it's right or wrong. But I think Arjuna has so far seen Krishna as a friend, cousin, and like it's very close relative. But when Krishna is explaining, he just wanted to realize how he is a supreme lord. Because so far the realization is only he is my close relative, my friend, my cousin, and all those ideas only. But where he is asking, how can I understand that you are the Supreme Personality of God? It's not that because of his ignorance, he wanted to even show the other people also that the supremacy of the Lord. So after that, his perception of looking the Lord, Krishna itself has changed. That he says that, oh Krishna, so far I was like sitting with you, eating in the same plate, playing with you, calling you by name. But after that, his perception changed. So that is the reason why Arjuna has asked Krishna to show his Virat Rupa. This is my understanding.
Yeah, okay.
Well, Prabhu, I think just to summarize, I think it's basically the context there was to show all his vibhutis, opulences,
Yeah, exactly.
and yeah, maybe that is what Lord felt is the appropriate form to show, and also he could able to manifest all the present, past, and future, everything as a time.
Yeah. Again, that's a material form, Prabhu. The universal
Yeah,
form is
yeah, yeah.
considered to be a material form. So that's the continuation there. Here it's highlighting here. This is basically meant again the material dreams and how by seeing the universes, the cosmos, people understand, the form of the Lord. That's an imaginary form of the Lord, it said. And it's not part of the incarnation. That's trying to delineate that with it.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. If anything further I get, I will share in this group. All right. Thank you. Anyone next to us? Rushan Prabhu, you want to read verse 32?
Hare Krishna. A subtle form beyond the gross form. Beyond this gross gigantic form of the universe is another subtle material form, which is without form or shape and is unseen, unheard, and unmanifest. अतः परं यद् अव्यक्तम् अव्यूढगुणप्रहितम् अदृष्टाश्रुतवस्तुत्वात् स जीवो यत् पुनर्भवः. Beyond this gross conception of form is another subtle conception of form, which is without form or shape and is unseen, unheard, and unmanifest. The living being has his form beyond this subtly, otherwise he could not have repeated births. Purport. As the gross cosmic manifestation is conceived as the gigantic body of the Lord, so also there is the conception of subtle form, which is simply realized without being seen, heard, or manifested. But in fact, all these gross or subtle conceptions of the body are in relation with the living beings. The living being has his spiritual form beyond this gross material or subtle psychic existence. The gross body and psychic functions cease to act as soon as the living being leaves the visible gross body. In fact, we say that the living being has gone away from has gone away because he is unseen and unheard. Even when the gross body is not acting when the living being is in sound sleep, we know that he is within the body by his breathing. So the living being's passing away from the body does not mean that there is no existence of the living soul. It is there. Otherwise, how can he repeat his births again and again? The conclusion is that the Lord is eternally existent in his transcendental form, which is neither gross nor subtle like that of the living being. His body is never to be compared to the gross and subtle bodies of the living being. All such conceptions of God's body are imaginary. The living being has his eternal spiritual form, which is conditioned only by his material contamination. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So again, this is talking about two types of forms of gross conception form of the body of the Lord and the subtle conception form. And the comparison is made along with the living being, how we have a gross body and a subtle body. Right? That's what it highlights here. So this picture is trying to show the comparison. So the gross body or the planetary system, the cosmos and other things, whereas the other features of the Lord, there are subtle portion of it which can't be said. That's the subtle body, like how we have the mind, intelligence, and false ego, right? And we have the gross body based on the Pancha Bhutas. So both gross and subtle body is what? Is not to be considered as. The conclusion is that the Lord is eternally existent, transparent, which is neither gross nor subtle, like how a living being is. So his body is never compared to gross and subtle body of the living being. All such conceptions of God's body are imaginary, similar to our soul, which is a eternal and spiritual form, which is conditioned by the material contamination. Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, in the purport, it says that, which is neither gross nor subtle in the last paragraph.
Yeah.
But in the translation, it says, beyond this gross conception of form is another subtle conception.
So here is talking about the gross and subtle are not the transcendental form.
But, okay, yes.
Yeah. So Lord is
And
eternal, he is eternally transcendental. That's what we are talking about, the incarnations. No, a Matsya Avatar is there. A Varaha Avatar is there. They are transcendental in form.
yes.
Right? Here, this Virat Rupa form, it has a gross, it has a subtle. Right? So these forms are not transcendental. That's what it means here.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. They are based on the material realms. It's composites of the material elements there. Like that's what it compares to our own body. So we are a living entity, Jivatma. We are also said to be, in spiritual in nature. But what is spiritual in nature in us? It's
Yes,
only
Prabhu.
our soul, right? So we also have a body. This is material in nature. And there is also a subtle body. This is a gross body which people can see, gross stuff, right? It's made of Panchabhutas, right? Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And then we have also a subtle body, mind, false ego, and intelligence, right? Again, this gross and subtle are said to be in a material form, whereas the soul is said to be a spiritual form. That's what is mentioned here.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji.
Clear?
So, Prabhuji, Virat Rupa of the Lord has subtle and the gross body, yeah?
Exactly.
Because all the demigods are there and we are also on that Rupa, that's why.
Exactly. So that picture also earlier we have seen, right? So here, if you see here, the
Yeah.
Satya Loka, all these universes, these are all there. And then if you see on the left hand side, these pictures where all the devatas, demigods, everyone, even living entities are also there.
So we are
So
actually
these
on
are the
the
gross.
we are living on the body of the Lord actually. We are present now.
Imaginary, exactly. Yes, we are sitting in the planet where Lord is there. So everywhere is there.
Yeah. We are in his body now.
So here you see, this is the gross universe. All the universe is not just where we are. So see how vast it is. And subtle form of the Lord. So this, if you have an imaginary form outside this, it's unseen, unheard, and unmanifested. That's what is mentioned there. And that's the image, the subtle form of the Lord. Okay, let's go to verse number 33. Who's there to read? Anyone wants to read this verse?
Character.
Yes, bro.
Hare Krishna.
Oh,
Realizing Brahman. When a person experiences that he has nothing to do with gross and subtle body, he can realize Brahman, Brahma Darshanam. Yate Rema Sade Asad Rupe Prati Siddhe Sa Samvida Avidya Yatmani Karte Iti Bhat Brahma Darshanam.
Tat Brahma Darshanam.
Iti Tat Darshanam. Translation. Whenever a person experiences by self-realization that both the gross and subtle body have nothing to do with the pure self, at that time he sees himself as well as the Lord. Difference between the self-realization and illusion. The difference between the self-realization and material illusion is to know that the temporary or illusionary imposition of material energy in the shape of gross and subtle bodies are superficial covering of the self. The coverings take place due to ignorance. Such coverings are never effective in the person of the personality of Godhead. Knowing this convincingly is called liberation or seeing the absolute. This means that perfect self-realization is made possible by adoption of godly or spiritual life. Self-realization means becoming indifferent to the needs of the gross and subtle body and becoming serious about the activities of the self. The impetus for activities is generated from the self, but such activities become illusory due to ignorance of the real position of the self. By ignorance, self-interest is calculated in terms of the gross and subtle bodies, and therefore a whole set of activities is spoiled, life after life. When, however, one meets the self by proper culture, the activities of the self begin. Therefore, a man who is engaged in the activities of the self is called Jiva Mukta or a liberated person, even in the conditional existence. How can we attain the age of self-realization? This perfect stage of self-realization is attained not by artificial means, but under the lotus feet of the Lord, who is always transcendental. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that He is the present in everyone's heart, and from Him only knowledge, remembrance, or forgetfulness takes place. When the living beings desire to be an enjoyer of the material energy, illusory phenomena, the Lord covers the living being in the mystery of forgetfulness, and thus the living being misinterprets the gross body and subtle mind to be his own self. And by culture of transcendental knowledge, when the living being prays to the Lord for deliverance from the clutches of forgetfulness, the Lord by his causeless mercy removes the living being's illusory curtain, and thus he realizes his own self. Then he engages himself in the service of the Lord in the eternal constitution position, becoming liberated from the conditioned life. All this is executed by the Lord either through his external potency or directly by the internal potency.
Okay, thank you,
Hare
bro.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
So what we have been seeing so far is talking about the Virat Rupa, gross and subtle body and all. So now it's talking about one who sees beyond this, beyond the gross and subtle body. He can realize the Brahman. He can get the Brahma Darshanam. He can see that. That's what this verse is talking. So whenever a person experiences by self-realization, no, that's through knowledge, through self-realization, then both the gross and subtle body, he will understand we have nothing to do with this gross and subtle body, both in terms of the supreme, the imaginary Virat Rupa, and our body also. Like, we have nothing to do with our subtle and gross body. So at that time, he sees himself, as well as the Lord. So you start seeing your own, the pure spirit soul and the Paramatma, the Lord, Supreme Lord. So that's what this verse highlights. So what's the difference between self-realization and illusion mentioned in this passage?
The material energy in the gross and subtle forms is the conditioning, and coming out of that is self-realization.
Yeah. Very simple self-realization is the first thing what Bhagavad Gita teaches: I am not the body, I am the soul. Isn't it? So self-realization means just becoming indifferent to the needs of the subtle and gross bodies and becoming serious about the activities of the self. There's something underlined here. I'm just reading that. So what here activities of the self means is referring to the spirit soul. And illusion is, we are put under this various illusionary energy that is due to ignorance.
So, Prabhuji, what will be then we are indifferent to the needs of gross and subtle bodies, and we become serious about the activities of the self. Self means the activities of the soul.
Yeah.
So what
That
will
once you understand that you are not the body, because we are going and doing things today, for everything is for the body, right?
Yeah.
All our activities are towards, the animist form of life, which I call as the seed.
Yeah.
Right? So we are.
So when we start doing activities for soul, like meditation, doing sadhana, so that's when we start realizing.
Yes. So once you understand the Atma, then you understand the Lord. So you start seeing the Lord. Then we talk about the relationship. What is my relationship with the Lord? So that's what the Jnana and the Vijnana we talk about. So rather than doing things by ignorance for self-interest, then doing things for the satisfaction of the Lord. So that's what it says, even a person who start doing that, he is liberated even in this material world. It's called Jivan Mukta, even the conditioned result. Even we are conditioned, we are working. That's what simple understanding is, dovetailing all our activities for the service of the Lord. So we in a day, we have to do so many work. We have to work for maintaining our body. We are doing studies. We are doing working in the house, office, earning money. Try to dovetail that in the service of the Lord. So even in the conditioned way, we can dovetail and engage that activities dovetailing to the service of the Lord. Then you get liberation. You're not interested in the end result of it. But then since we have to continue doing it, we do it just for the sake of the Lord and to existence. Our existence is there in this material world. We have to do it.
Thank you.
So how can one attain this stage of self-realization? That's what's mentioned here. Can someone summarize this? Vikas Prabhu, you read this. Can you highlight some points here? Actually, it refers to one of the verses in Bhagavad Gita, 15:15, right? Sarvasya chaham nidhi sannivishto matta smidir jnanam apokam namcha. It says Bhagavad Gita, it says in presence hearts, Lord is present in one's heart, and only through him we get all the knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. When the living being desires to be the enjoyer of material energy, the Lord will cover with all the power, forgetfulness. Right? He will give you, you're desiring to enjoy this material world. Yes, He makes all the facilities for that.
And by the culture of transcendental knowledge only we can come out of that.
Yeah. Not only that, this causeless mercy removes the living being, the illusion. Actually, this verse or next verse talks about the Maya, how the Maya influence, how we can escape the influence of Maya. Probably the next verse is coming up, where how one, how the Maya Devi stops her influence on us. When does she stop her influence? All the time we are under the influence of Maya. When we become under the shelter of the Lord, then Maya Devi's influence gets minimized. It goes down, 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 further down. So therefore, His causeless mercy removes the living being's illusionary curtain, and thus you realize your own self. He then engages in fully service. Now you understand that what is our eternal position of the Lord. So we are the servitor of the Lord. We are the servant of the Lord. And that's how one becomes liberated from the conditioned life. All these are executed by the Lord through the eternal potency. External potency or directly by internal potency. Either Yogamaya or Mahamaya. Alright, so let's go to the next verse. Bhupesh, Prabhu, you want to read? Let's talk about the constitutional position now.
Yes, Prabhu, I'll continue. Constitution position: when the illusionary energy subsides and one is enriched with knowledge by the Lord's grace, then one is situated in his own glorious position. Mahimni Swe Mahiyate. Text 34. Yadya Esho Parata Devi Maya Vesharadi Mati Sampanna Evati Vidur Mahimani Swe Mahiyate. Translation: if the illusionary energy subsides and the living entity becomes fully enriched with knowledge by the grace of the Lord, then he becomes at once enlightened with the self-realization and thus becomes situated in his own glory. How Lord's internal and external energy acts by his will. Because the Lord is absolute transcendence, all of his forms, names, pastimes, attributes, associates, and energies are identical with him. His transcendental energy acts according to his omnipotency. The same energy acts as his external, internal, and marginal energies. And by his omnipotency, he can perform anything and everything through the agency of any of the above energies. He can turn the external energy into internal by his will. Therefore, by his grace, the external energy which is employed in the illusioning those living beings who want to have it subsides by the will of the Lord in terms of the repentance and penance for the conditioned soul, and the very same energy then acts to help the purified living being make progress on the path of self-realization. The example of electrical energy is very appropriate in this connection. The expert electrician can utilize the electrical energy for both heating and cooling by adjustment only. Similarly, the external energy which now bewilders the living being into constitution of birth and death is turned into internal potency by the will of the Lord to lead the living being to eternal life. When a living being is thus graced by the Lord, he is placed in his proper constitutional position to enjoy eternal spiritual life.
Krishna. Okay. So if you see, the previous verse talks about one realizing the Brahman. That is understanding, going beyond the gross and subtle thing, understanding the spirit soul or the Lord, the Paramatma, right? Now this is talking about realizing our constitutional position. What is our constitutional position? So how we can realize that? When all the Maya subsides, when the illusionary energy or the external energy of the Lord, which is influencing us through the various modes, once we transcend the modes through knowledge, that's how we can be situated in our glorious position. What is our glorious position? Is understanding what is the relationship with the Lord. So if the illusionary energy subsides, the living entity becomes fully enriched with the knowledge by the grace of the Lord. Again, the mercy of the Lord is here. So thus he becomes enlightened with self-realization and situates on his glory, the Brahma Bhutan stage, right? So how does internal energy and external energy acts on us? Can someone explain based on this passage? And also there's an analogy given there.
External energy makes us attached to the material conception of life, and because of that, we continue our birth and death. But then, when Krishna, by the mercy of the devotees and Krishna, the internal energy acts upon us, even though it's the same energy, but Krishna can change it, like the electrician can use the same electricity both for heat and for cold. So Krishna can use his same energy for bewildering the individual or making him a devotee.
Exactly. Thanks, Prabhu. So here you see the last sentence, and the very same energy then acts to help to purify oneself by progressing in the path of self-realization. As you said, the analogy of the electrical energy, it can be used for heating or cooling. Similarly, the external energy, the Maya, which is acting on us, it keeps us bewildered. We are put under illusion. And we take multiple births, every time we take multiple births. So, but if we are under the internal potency of the Lord, under the shelter of the Lord, by the will of the Lord, our living being leads to a grace of the Lord. He is properly put in the constitutional position. There we know our position is to satisfy the Lord. Constitutional position to enjoy. And in that process, we also enjoy the blissful nature of eternal spiritual life. So this verse is talking about what is our constitutional position and how the illusionary form of energy goes away. So Devi Maya Vaisaradi Mati. So this, if you see the translation of this word, Vaisaradi, full of knowledge, Mati, enlightenment, right? It means a person who thinks of the Lord. So then the Maya Devi, once you start, focusing your energy, your mind, your consciousness on Krishna, that's what simple Krishna consciousness. Once you go into that, if you will then see gradually the influence of the illusionary energy is reducing the Navaras. So Maya's influence actually withdraws. And the Jiva starts thinking more of serving to the Lord. And Lord, the Lord's favors in such cases. Lord favors such a situation. So His grace is there. That's what is mentioned. Are we clear on this verse? What is simple to understand is the more devotional service we start doing, the more Maya influences on us will reduce and Lord's grace will be there with us. That's what this verse is trying to tell. Okay, then this is up to this Virat Rupa, and then we go to the next section, 35 to 39, talks about describing and understanding the Lord in little more detail here. Who wants to read? Neha Mataji, are you available to read? Neha Mataji or Raman Prabhu? Or Rakesh Prabhu? Or Ritu Mataji?
Sure,
I
sir.
can read
Hare
from.
Krishna.
Yeah, Neha Mataji will read, and next verse Ritu Mataji. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Describing the Lord, rejecting the two material forms, learned men describe the highest and most confidential truth of the Vedas, Veda Guhyani, namely the births and activities which are not material, of the Lord of the Heart, Ratpati, who is unborn, Ajanyasya, and inactive, Akartur. Text 35. Evam janmani karmani haykarturjanasya cha varnayanti samakvayo veda guhyani ratpate. Translation. Thus learned men describe the births and activities of the unborn and inactive, which is undiscoverable even in the Vedic literatures. He is the Lord of the herd. Hare Krishna. Translation. Oh,
Purport.
Why Lord's activities are described by the sages. Both the Lord and the living entities are essentially all spiritual. Therefore, both of them are eternal, and neither of them has births and deaths. The difference is that the so called births and disappearances of the Lord are unlike those of the living beings. The living beings who take birth and then again accept death are bound by the laws of material nature. But the so called appearance and disappearance of the Lord are not actions of material nature, but are demonstrations of the internal potency of the Lord. They are described by the great sages for the purpose of self realization, result of meditating on activities of the Lord. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita by the Lord that his so called birth in the material world and his activities are all transcendental, and simply by meditation on such activities, one can attain realization of Brahman and thus become liberated from material bondage. In the Shrutis, it is said that the birthless appear to take birth, the Supreme has nothing to do but because he is omnipresent, he is omnipotent, everything is performed by him naturally, as if done automatically. As a matter of fact, the appearance and disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his different activities are all confidential, even to the Vedic literatures, yet they are displayed by the Lord to bestow mercy upon the conditioned souls. We should always take advantage of the narrations of the activities of the Lord, which are meditations on Brahman in the most convenient and palatable form.
Hare Krishna, thank you. All right. So, can someone explain what is this talking about? This verse talking?
The living being and the Lord both are spiritual, but the living being is taking lots of birth and they are material, but the Lord is also has taken lots of incarnation, but they are spiritual, they are transcendental.
Okay. Yeah. This trying to highlight that learned or wise men describes the birth and activities of the Lord. The unborn here means the Lord. And he is the Lord of the heart. Any reference to a verse in Bhagavad Gita? In fact, the purport also highlights that. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita, the so-called birth in the material activities. Huh?
4.9.
Janma karma
Yeah, Janma Karma Chame Divyam. Exactly. So such a person will eternally obtain Lord's spiritual world. That's what Janma Karma Chave Divyam Palastuti mentions there. So here Lord's activities as described by the sages is meant for the purpose of self-realization. Right? Then what is the result of the meditating on Lord's activities? We get liberated and we get back to the spiritual world. Okay, Param Prabhu, you had some question? Raising some hand and
Yes, Prabhuji. In the translation, it said that it's the birth and activities of the Lord is undiscoverable even in the Vedic literatures. But the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is counted in the Vedic literature. So how do I understand that? What it's saying?
Sorry, can you repeat that? So we can't
in the-
understand. Yeah.
In the translation, it says that the birth and activities of the Lord is undiscoverable even in the Vedic literatures. So what does this mean?
Because it's very difficult to understand Krishna. Simple meaning is that.
But it says that the learned men can describe, and in the Vedic literatures, many of them, the learned men are speaking. So
Yes. So the learned men, through the right way of understanding things, they understand themselves and then they try to explain it to it. So we have to take it in the proper, coming in the proper guidance, coming in the proper parampara. That's where we have to understand it, rather than not to through speculation.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
You know, the Lord, the purpose how the Lord appears, it's not based on like karma. So we appear like based on our karma. If you see still, people say that Krishna also appeared as a human form, right? There are people still who teach Bhagavad Gita. No, there are, I don't want to name the organizations. They always think that Krishna is under the influence of the modes of material nature. He is
Yes.
also another human form. That is
Yeah.
they are teaching Bhagavad Gita that way. But Krishna is transcendental in nature, right?
Yes.
So that's why even they call themselves sometimes, you know, they are spiritual. They are all spiritual people, but their teachings are like that.
Yeah.
But only through proper learned wisdom that's how they can understand. Why those people can't understand that?
Because they don't have guidance from teachers.
Yeah.
Correct teachers.
That's why Prabhupada calls Bhagavad Gita as it is,
Yes.
as expressed by the Lord, because different people are giving different interpretations, right?
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
So even the Vedas people, they try to manipulate it in such a way that it suits to their philosophy, rather than what the Vedas focuses on, that is missed. But they have a philosophy and they try to twist the Vedas for that.
Yeah.
That's the point. All right, bro.
In Indonesia, one time I went there. The people used to say they are reading Vedas, but in the temples they used to offer meat to all the deities because they were saying that they had not proper understanding.
Exactly. So they quote the Vedas and do these types of all the things. So what I'm saying, I mean, there are missions here which say that Krishna is the human form who appeared, who is under the influence of thing. There is something beyond Krishna for them.
Yeah.
Krishna is a birth, like is similar to us, karma, right?
Yes.
So if you do something wrong and it will come on you. That's how Krishna also died, they will say.
Yeah.
They don't understand the Leela part of it.
Yes.
Yeah, Prabhuji, some people say that everyone is Krishna, and if you chant the name and then you also become Krishna, you also become
Yeah, you are
Brahma.
the God. Yeah.
So that is the wrong philosophy actually.
Yeah. Aham Brahmasmaya. They don't understand. That means actually Aham Brahmasmaya, I am the supreme, I mean, I am the spirit soul. But they think the Brahma, I am God. They equated yourself to God. You don't understand that you are God, but you start this process, my process, you will understand who you are. That is not the right self-realization, right?
So those people are called like less intelligent, such type of. But they so like they are devotees, but the conception is like this one they teaching.
No, there is one, if you, there's a Bhakti Shastra student there in the 7th chapter, it talks about such person, that Vedas itself, they try to change it. There is a name for that. Just 1 second. 7:14 or 7:15 verse.
Mityachara. Something.
Maya apatra jnana.
Mayavadi.
Not Mayavadi.
Maya,
See,
yeah.
there are 4 type of people who don't come to Krishna. Like he talks about the Mudas, Nara Dharma, and Maya apatraha jnana. So they have the knowledge, but the Maya, the illusionary energy, covers that knowledge. If you read that purport 7:15, Prabhupada highlights on that.
7:15 Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita. Of those person whose erudite the knowledge has been nullified by the influence of illusionary material energy. They are mostly very learned fellows, great philosophers, poet, literature, scientists, but the illusionary energy misguides them, and therefore they disobeyed the Supreme Lord. That's a big passage. Prabhupada highlights that. When you have time to go through that. So such kind of unauthorized interpretation of the Gita or by this class of Maya Apatra knowledge inside the purview of Parampara system are so many stumbling blocks on the path of spiritual understanding. They deluded the interpretation, do not surrender unto the lotus feet of Krishna, nor do they teach others to follow this principle. That's what they're doing.
So they looks like devotees, but they're teaching these things. Like you keep chanting and then you become Brahman. So this is good or bad, Prabhuji?
What do you think?
So this is wrong, no? But still they like people are following them.
Yeah, if you want to get more followers, if you tell, you are the great, you are the best, I will try to make you, yes, everyone wants that. Because you are talking always I and me. So we are always selfish in nature. We always want, okay, something for me, something for my family, something for my nation, something for my house. We are all attached to that, me and mind. And someone tries to put, fire onto that. They encourage you. Yes, 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 you are the one. You are the one. You can win. So you start getting into that. And you also believe, again, the illusionary energy acts on you further. When this and then flames you up. And you cannot stop it. We can think, yes, I am the God. Right. Okay. Let's move on. Is it okay, Param Prabhu?
Yes,
You're
Prabhu.
okay with that? Yes.
Thank you.
Let's read the next verse. Anyone else? Read to Mataji.
Yes,
Want to give it a try?
Text 36. Asava idam vishwam moga lila hai srijate avete ati naha srijate samyan muteshu cha nantrihitam atmam tantraha shad vargiham jigrete sadguneshu. The Lord, whose activities are always spotless, is the master of 6 senses and is fully omnipotent and with 6 opulences. He creates the manifested universes, maintains them, and annihilates them without being in the least affected. He is within every living being and is always independent. Purport. The prime difference between the Lord and the living entities is that the Lord is creator and the living entities are the created. Here he is called Amoga Leela, which indicates that there is nothing lamentable in his creation. Those who create disturbance in his creation are themselves disturbed. He is transcendental to all material afflictions because he is full with all 6 opulences. namely wealth, power, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. And thus he is master of all the senses. He creates these manifested universes in order to reclaim the living beings who are within them suffering threefold miseries, maintains them, and in due course annihilates them without being the least affected by such actions. He is connected with the material creation very superficially, as one smells odor without being connected with the odorous article. Non-godly elements therefore can never approach him, despite all endeavors.
Okay. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Yeah, as I said, this section is describing about the Lord. Here, around 6 qualities of the Lords are mentioned here. No, one is the spotless pastime. Talks about the Amoga Leela, ones whose activities are spotless. Amoga. All his Leela are the activities, and Amoga means spotless activities. And then it talks about he is the one, Srijate creates. He is the one who creates, maintains, and destroys this universe. Even though he creates, maintains, and destroys, he is unaffected because of that. Nothing to do with that. Then next is he is situated within everyone. So Bhuteshu, living within. Say Antarhita. I'm just highlighting living within. So he is living within as Paramatma. Then he is independent, Atma Tantra. He is self-independent. And he has 6 opulences, Sat Vairigyam. He's endowed with all the potencies of his opulences. What are the 6 opulences? And the purport Prabhupada highlights that.
Beauty, fame, pronunciation, knowledge,
Yeah.
and power, wealth.
Power, strength, yes. So these are the 6 that is called the Bhagavan. Parasara Muni highlight the 6 opulences. And then he is the master of 6 senses, Sat Guna Isha. So this verse highlights the 6 qualities of the Lord. All right. Can someone repeat it? Amoga Leela. That means his activities are spotless. Srijati. He is the one who creates, maintains, and destroys. No, Shriyaji Avati Ati. He maintains and annihilates. And he is unaffected because of that. He is nothing to do anything to with that. And he lives within all the Bhuteshu. Antarhita. He lives within every one of us. And he is the Atma Tantrata. He is self-independent. He's not dependent on anything like us. And he has the 6 opulences. And he is the master of 6 senses. What are the 6 senses?
5 plus 9.
Wealth, power, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation.
No, that is the 6 opulences. I'm talking about 6 guna, 6 senses. Master of 6 senses it talks.
The smelling, the taste,
Hearing,
and
touching, and
smelling.
6 sense organs.
smelling, taste,
ear, nose, tongue,
Mm.
skin,
Eyes.
taste,
eyes,
Okay, how many?
seeing.
Yeah, ears, I see. How many?
and the last one is mind.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, next verse. Who has not read? Anyone wants to read?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yes, bro.
न चास्य कश्चिन्निपुणेन धातुरवेति जन्तुकुमनीष ऊति नामानि रूपाणि मनोवचोभिः सन्तन्वतो न तचार्यमिवान्. Gyaha. The foolish with a poor fund of knowledge cannot know the transcendental nature of the forms, names, and activities of the Lord, who is playing like an actor in a drama. Nor can they express such things neither in their speculations nor in their words. Purport. No one can properly describe the transcendental nature of the Absolute Truth. Therefore, it is said that he is beyond the expression of mind and speech. Yet there are some men with a poor fund of knowledge who desire to understand the Absolute Truth by imperfect mental speculation and faulty description of his activities. To the layman, his activities, appearance and disappearance, his names, his forms, his paraphernalia, his personalities, and all things in relation with him are mysterious. There are two classes of materialists, namely the fruitive workers and the empiric philosophers. The fruitive workers have practically no information of the absolute truth, and the mental speculators, after being frustrated in fruitive activities, turn their faces towards the absolute truth and try to know him by mental speculation. And for all these men, the absolute truth is a mystery, as the jugglery of the magician is a mystery to children. Being deceived by the jugglery of the Supreme Being, the non-devotees who may be very dexterous in fruitive work and mental speculation are always in ignorance. With such limited knowledge, they are unable to penetrate into the mysterious region of transcendence. The mental speculators are a little more progressive than the gross materialists or the fruitive workers. But because they are also within the grip of illusion, they take it for granted that anything which has form, a name, and activities is but a product of material energy. For them, the Supreme Spirit is formless, nameless, and inactive. And because such mental speculators equalize the transcendental name and form of the Lord with mundane names and forms, they are in fact in ignorance. With such a poor fund of Prabhuji, can you please scroll down? With such a poor fund of knowledge, there is no access to the real nature of the Supreme Being. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is always in the transcendental position, even when he is within the material world. But ignorant men consider the Lord one of the great personalities of the world, and thus they are misled by the illusory energy. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna, thank you. So this was what it is highlighting. It's talking about someone unintelligent men who cannot understand the Lord. So the poor fund of knowledge, they cannot understand the transcendental nature of the Lord, such as his, guna,
Spirit.
rupa, his leelas. They can't understand, nor can express the such either in their speculation nor in words. So that's what it's highlighting here. And talks about this two class of materialistic men. Who are they? The karmis and
Jnanis.
jnanis. Yes, empirical philosophers. So the karmis don't have any information of the absolute truth. While the jnanis, what are they doing? And after frustration in trying to get fruitive activities, they turn toward the absolute truth and try to know him through mental speculation. They try to do, but they speculate it. So for them, for both the karmis and jnanis, it is really a mystery to understand the absolute truth. And if you take the non-devotees here, it talks about both the karmis and jnanis. They are all, who are dexterous in the fruitive works and mental speculation are always in ignorance. With limited knowledge, they are unable to penetrate into the pastime, the mysterious pastimes of the Lord. They may ask 100 more questions like, how is that Krishna is able to carry the Govardhan hill in the pinky finger? They don't understand the mysterious nature. the mental speculators are little more progressive than the karmis. The jnanis are little better. That's what it says. If you see in the yoga ladder also, karmis, jnanis comes a little better than the karmis. Karma yoga, jnana yoga. So for them, the supreme spirit is, then we talk about people who are Brahmavadis. Spirit, supreme Lord is formless, nameless, inactive. So therefore, without knowledge, with poor knowledge, you cannot have access to the Lord's transcendental mysteries, the various leelas of the Lord. So Prabhupada highlights, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is always in transcendental portion, even when he is within this material world. So as I really said, when Krishna appears in the material world also, he appears in this transcendental form. That's why if you see, you can't see any Krishna lived for, it says Krishna lived for 125 years. There can be no picture anywhere you can see that Krishna is an old man, 100 years or 125 years old man. He looks always as a 16 years old, young person. Anywhere it's described like that. So he's always transcendental in nature. But ignorant men consider Lord as a great personality of the world, and thus they are misled by illusionary energy. They consider him one of the, historians. That's why they form the world called the mythology. If you say, many people talk about Mahabharata, Ramayana, these are all myth. Mythology means what? It's a myth. Someone created the stories. But it really happened, right? Still places are there. That's why we call it as a Dham, Vrindavan Dham, and Ayodhya Dham, right? These places are there. People are there. The generations are there. All right. So unintelligent men cannot understand the Lord, it says. So
Prabhuji,
then.
sorry.
Yes, Mataji.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So when Krishna came on here on this land, so was Krishna is the expansion of Krishna who is in Golaka Vrindavan that time, or he just moved from there to come here, to come on the earth?
Good question. Anyone like to take that before I comment? Just want to see the understanding.
I think I heard somewhere in Katha, he was the same Krishna, I think. But in another Katha, I heard like Krishna, there was two Krishna who took birth. So one was the son of Yasodaji and one was the son of Devaki.
Devaki, okay.
So it's still
Yashoda Krishna,
confusion.
Devaki Krishna, okay. Yes, Prabhu, Prashant Prabhu, yeah. Yeah, that's why
Yes,
some people say he has not left even Vrindavan. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Prashant Prabhu.
yeah, Prabhuji. So some slokas back we read, Etecha Kalam Pumsha Krishnastu Bhagavan
Exactly.
Sayam.
Yeah.
So Vyasdev Maharaj explained all the avataras, and then he said, "Oh, this avatara, this is not the avatar. This is the avatari himself." So when Lord Krishna appeared, he was he himself. I mean, the original personality of Godhead.
So he left Goloka Vrindavan and then he came here.
So he is
Mataji,
omnipotent.
yeah,
He can be there. Yeah, sorry.
yeah,
He
he's
can
as
be there in many places at one single time.
exactly, yeah. Yeah, Jai Dharma Prabhu.
No, the same thing, Prabhu. I think just
Yeah.
like in Brahma
Yeah.
Vimochan Lila, how the Lord can parallelly expand to multiple, like cows as well as the cowherd boys. I
Yeah.
think he's there and he's here as well. I mean,
Exactly. He's
that's
omnipresent.
yeah.
Yes. Another example, anyone?
And then the question, and then the one is then Why didn't
No.
he?
First finalize this.
No,
So
no, no.
even in Mathura, Krishna had 16,108 wives. When Narada Muni was astonished to see that Krishna was there in every palaces. In one palace, he was playing with his wife. One other one, he was playing with his children. No different thing. The Narada Muni is bewildered. Krishna is there everywhere, and every queen thinks that Krishna is only with me. So that's how Krishna is present. So everyone, even in the rasa dance, all the gopis who were dancing with Krishna, they felt that Krishna is with them. But if you see, Krishna is there with every one of them. Okay, Mataji, he is present
And
everywhere,
then
omnipresent.
when he left Vrindavan for Mathura or Dwarka, so why didn't we say that Krishna was still present with Radharani, Srimati Radharani? Why we have that missing?
No, that's what. So they say that's why Vrindavan Krishna, his heart is there always in Vrindavan. Actually Krishna left Vrindavan, but he is actually, they say it's a different Krishna once he comes outside Vrindavan. So that's based on the consciousness and mood in which Krishna behaved in each of the dhams. He didn't say do the same Vrindavan pastime in Mathura or Dwaraka, right? So each places Krishna had his own leelas. That's why he says that Vrindavan Krishna is not there in Dwaraka. He is a different Krishna. Now these are all how these people, want to express the love for Krishna, how they express it, all the sages, the learned men, how they highlight the Krishna's pastime.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yeah. That's why Krishna is mysterious for us to understand.
Yeah.
So, Prabhuji, is that true? There were two Krishna, one from Devaki Mataji and one from Yasoda Mataji.
No, as I said, the same thing, Mataji. It's the Devaki Mataji is Krishna is in a different mood. Different leelas. Whereas Yashoda's Mataji, that leela, see that leela, like you take example of Damodar leela. He performed it with Devaki. Both are, with Yashoda Mai, right? Not with Devaki.
But Prabhuji, many times I've heard that at sometimes the both Krishnas they merge and at other times they come out.
Yeah, I also heard.
So depending on the time, but at the start there's two, and then after a few years they merge and then they come out, depending on where they are in Mathura and Vrindavan.
Yeah. Exactly. It is like they say the lotus flower, lotus petal. Now I also used to wonder if you go to Vrindavan, they say Krishna traveled from here to Barsana or somewhere, If you really go there practically, if you see those places, it takes so many hours to go. And here we talk about Krishna goes in the morning and comes in the evening. How to understand that?
Barsana? Sorry, Prabhuji?
No, there is a place where with Radharani he goes, does some pastimes, And that place from where Gokul is there to that place, if you travel in a vehicle itself, it takes so many hours to travel there. But if you see, it is said as per the pastime that Krishna used to go to the morning to those places and by evening he returns back home. How is that? Even in a vehicle we can't there, but whereas here Krishna is herding all his cows and going, calves and going.
Yeah, he going everywhere like Chaurasi course, what we say. So he going everywhere same time at the
So
same
that's why the same question I asked some of the acharyas who are the senior devotees. So what they're saying it is like, the lotus petals. If you see in the morning how the petals are small and then the petals start becoming big. And then in the evening again they close, right? So we have to, with that understanding, we have to understand that how he used to travel, come back. Okay. You're okay? Yes, Mataji. As these
Yes,
are all
Prabhuji.
mysterious
Yes.
pastime. That's what it is said. These verses, that's what we are saying. This mysterious pastime. The as we become purified, as our knowledge gets better, we try to understand all his pastimes better. It's difficult to understand Krishna. That's what it's. Even Brahma was bewildered. Who are we, Mataji?
Mm.
Yeah, we are
Brahma
nothing.
Vimoga Leela. Brahma is bewildered. Indra is bewildered. He is a demigod. And these people prayed Krishna to come to the world. And they are bewildered. To understand who is Krishna, who is this person eating food from all the gopas. He is taking the mochi of those things. No, this is not Krishna. Krishna can't do this. Right? But Krishna is eating from the plates of all his other friends. What they ate and left. And he is carrying someone on his shoulders and running, playing. So this cannot be Krishna.
Krishna.
So they are themselves bewildered. So we are all very insignificant person. We are trying to understand, try to take the knowledge, try to create the love for Krishna so that we understand him better. We need his mercy. If you get his mercy, then you can understand everything.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Anyone wants to add something to this? All right, all good. Okay. Kangana Mate, you want to read the next one? Which one are we in now?
39.
39.
Which one? Now 39?
Yeah.
39, yeah?
Yeah.
Up to 38.
Ateha Dhanya.
We didn't do the
Up to
38.
38.
We
38?
didn't do 38. Okay.
Yeah.
38, yeah, okay. Saveda dhatua padavimvarasya duranta viryasya rathangapaneha yo mayaya santa
Sorry.
santayana vritya vajiteha tatpada saroja gandama. Word for word meaning.
No,
Translation. Only those who render unreserved, uninterpreted, favorable service unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who carries the wheel of the chariot in his hand, can know the Creator of the universe in his full glory, power, and transcendence.
Yeah, this is the answer for you, Mataji. Krishna immediately gave it. Only those who render unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable service unto the lotus feet of Krishna, who carries the wheel of the chariot in his hand, can know about him. Simple as that.
Purport. Only the pure devotees can know the transcendental name, form, and activities of Lord Krishna due to their being completely freed from the reaction of the fruitive work and mental speculation. The pure devotees have nothing to derive as personal profit from their unalloyed service to the Lord. They render favorable service to the Lord in instantly and spontaneously without any reservation. Everyone within the creation of the Lord is rendering service to the Lord indirectly or directly. No one is an exception to this law of the Lord. Those who are rendering service indirectly, being forced by the illusionary agent of the Lord, are rendering service unto him unfavorably. But those who are rendering service unto him directly under the direction of his beloved agent are rendering service unto him favorably. Such favorable servitors are devotees of the Lord, and by the grace of the Lord, they can enter into the mysterious region of transcendence by the mercy of the Lord. But the mental speculators remain in darkness all the time. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord Himself guides the pure devotees towards a path of realization due to their constant engagement in the loving service of the Lord in spontaneous affection. That is the secret of entering into the kingdom of God. Fruitive activities and speculation are no qualification for entering.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Yeah, this is simple as I said, how one can understand the glories of the Lord is transcendental in nature. Just simply by not being speculative, not being interested in fruitive activities. One can understand that. They should have unreserved, uninterruptible, favorable service to the Lord. We'll finish off with one more verse, sorry, so that this section is over. Atihaddanya Bhagavanta itham yad vasudeva akhila lokanate kurvanti sarvatmaka atma bhavam na yatra bhuye pavitra yugra. Translation: only by making such enquiries in the world one can be successful and perfectly cognizant. For such enquiries invoke transcendental ecstasy, love unto the personality of Godhead, who is the proprietor of all the universes, and guarantee 10% immunity from dreadful repetition of birth and death. So again, this to understand, it's very good. Like we are asking question, trying to understand. So wonderful inquiries one has to make to have successful understanding. So purport: the enquiries of the sages headed by Shwanaka are herewith praised by Sutta Goswami. So Sutta Goswami is saying this on the merit of the transcendental nature. As already concluded, only the devotees of the Lord can know him to a considerable extent, and no one else can know him at all. So the devotees are perfectly cognizant of all the spiritual knowledge. The personality of Godhead is the last word of the absolute truth. Impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma are included in the knowledge of personality of Godhead. So one who knows the personality of Godhead can automatically know about him, his multipotencies and his expansion. So the devotees are congratulated as being all successful. A 10% devotee of the Lord is immune to the dreadful material miseries of repeated birth and death. So as I said, very important we understand through query and all our doubts get cleared and we discuss things. So same thing here. Sutta Goswami is telling to the Saunaka rishis, Saunakas and the sages, he is praising. He's praising them. You guys are the most fortunate for making such wonderful inquiries about the Lord Vasudev. So with that, what you do is by these enquiries, you invoke the transcendental excessive love for personality of Godhead. So once you do this, what is the end result? We are immune to all the material miseries of repeated birth and death. We can go beyond that. That's what it's highlighting here. So I'll stop here. Thank you. If any questions, you can put it on chat. We can discuss the coming week. Any reflections or any feedback or anything, I'm happy to take note. Hare Krishna. Thank you for holding on with the cameras for these devotees for the 2 hours. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare
Krishna. Thank you,
Krishna. See
Prabhuji.
you
Hare
next week.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
See you.
Thank you.
Very well. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.